sacrificed in tens of thousands on battlefields. The flotilla would be demoralized during transit by the assault of a few torpedo boats? Granted, but the same would apply to a fleet of transports, with the added certainty that one lucky shot would send to the bottom 10 times the number of soldiers, with less hope of rescue. In both cases, reliance must be placed on the efficiency and vigilance of the escort. It is admitted, however, in a passage which might well make my two adventurers glow with triumph, that if by any mischance the British discovered what was afoot in good time, and were able to send over a swarm of light draught boats, which could elude the German warships and get amongst the flotillas, while they were still in process of leaving the Seals, it is admitted that in that case the expedition was doomed. But it is held that such an event was not to be feared. Reckless pluck is abundant in the British Navy, but expert knowledge of the tides and shoals in these waters is utterly lacking. The British charts are of no value, and there is no evidence, he reports, that the subject has been studied in any way by the British Admiralty. Let me remark here that I believe Mr. Davies's views, as expressed in the earlier chapters, when they were still among the great estuaries, are all absolutely sound. The channel theory, though it only bore indirectly on the grand issue before them, was true, and should be laid to heart, or I should not have wasted space on it. One word more in conclusion. There is an axiom, much in fashion now, that there is no fear of an invasion of the British Isles, because if we lose command of the sea we can be starved, a cheaper and surer way of reducing us to submission. It is a loose, valueless axiom, but by sheer repetition it is becoming an article of faith. It implies that command of the sea is a thing to be won or lost definitely, that we may have it today and lose it forever tomorrow. On the contrary, the chances are that in anything like an even struggle the command of the sea will hang in the balance for an indefinite time, and even against great odds it would probably be impossible for our enemies so to bar the avenues of our commerce, so to blockade the ports of our extensive coastline, and so to overcome the interest which neutrals will have in supplying us, as to bring us to our knees in less than 2 years, during which time we can be recuperating and rebuilding from our unique internal resources, and endeavouring to regain command. No, the better axiom is that nothing short of a successful invasion could finally compel us to make peace. Our hearts are stout, we hope, but facts are facts, and a successful raid, such as that here sketched, if you will think out its consequences, must appall the stoutest heart. It was checkmated, but others may be conceived. In any case, we know the way in which they look at these things in Germany. Postscript, March 1903. It so happens that while this book was in the press, a number of measures have been taken by the government to counteract some of the very weaknesses and dangers which are alluded to above. A Committee of National Defence has been set up, and the welcome given to it was a truly extraordinary comment on the apathy and confusion which it is designed to supplant. A site on the Forth has been selected for a new North Sea naval base, an excellent if tardy decision, for 10 years or so must elapse before the existing anchorage becomes in any sense a base. A North Sea fleet has also been created, another good measure, but it should be remembered that its ships are not modern, or in the least capable of meeting the principal German squadrons under the circumstances supposed above. Lastly, a Manning Committee has, among other matters, reported vaguely in favour of a volunteer reserve. There is no means of knowing what this recommendation will lead to. Let us hope not to the fiasco of the last badly conceived experiment. Is it not becoming patent that the time has come for training all Englishmen systematically either for the sea or for the rifle? end of Epilogue and Postscript. And this is the end of The Riddle of the Sands by Erskine Childers.